with keen interest. When, at a time, some flies were disturbing, and when you attempted to wave them up, you said something. This is one of the Sias. And when he said that, so many people will not know that he's not making noise, he's talking about knowledge. Kabiyesi, we are privileged to have you as a father. I want to draw attention to this book, Hello, Sirs and Mas. If you have it with you, my thoughts about this education summit is on page 4 to 11. Kabiyesi, I was surprised when I saw it. And I want us to learn something from this. The Ogbomoso, I was not formally invited. But when I heard about this, I started writing that I will get it across to whoever is involved. Because I'm a son of the soil. And I want to be part of the progress of the town. The PSI to Ogbomoso Zone 1, Dr. Deliberation, encouraged me to complete this thought of mine because we talk about it a lot. And when I came this morning, I saw this. Kabiyesi, you've been able to gather together a good team because they don't discriminate. I want to give an assignment to all of us, sons and daughters of Ogbomoso, because this has become our project and we should see it as our project. The question we should ask ourselves is, what is my own contribution? I have seen a little of my contribution here, but beyond this, I will still contribute more, whether I'm called upon or not. And that should be the attitude. That should be the attitude. Kabiyesi, ọkọ ìyá èèyàn, bàbá èèyàn ni. Ọkọ ìyá mi ni alẹ́ òkèlè rẹ̀, torí ìyàwó mi ni olórí tó wà nínú ilé wọn. I'm representing him here. And I want you to know he could not be here because of an health issue he's attending to. Though the worst is over. He's in Lagos, he should be in town any moment from now. I think all our royal fathers should gather together, not talking about competitions, but cooperation. We are the Ogbomoso's home and abroad. We are not interested in any narrative of a Midway. What are you bringing to the town? That is what we are interested in. And we are seeing what Kabiyesi is bringing to the town. And any royal father that's not bringing any to the town, we don't recognize with you. And that is the truth. As small as we are, the moment I got the appointment, I started talking to friends. What can we do for my town? And we'll be there very, very soon. Vanguard Pharmacy is coming to Ogbomoso. We've gotten the land and it's going to be. Bring something as a royal father. Bring something as a political leader. We are not interested in empty talk. God bless our father. So if you are interested in what I think about this, read what I've written here. God bless us.
God bless you.
God bless you.
With all the royal fathers. From there on, I pick up my fathers, my mothers, my brothers, my sisters, and everybody here. Ogbomoso! 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 I depend on Allah, we thank God, we give God the glory. Like the speaker said, today is my birthday. I happen to be 40 today. And when I made the decision not to celebrate, not to do any party, my friends and everyone, like family, were like, why? 40 years old, that's the time when people want to celebrate, throw elaborate parties and all. And I told them, I said, we're in a growing stage. We're in a stage of growth, not a stage of celebration. This is a stage where we are growing, where the economy, the community, the society, everything is facing turmoil, is facing a turning point, a crucial point. I don't think it's a time for us to be celebrating and be shouting, no, but a time for us to reflect and talk among ourselves. So I told them, I said, being here is more important than celebrating a birthday. Being at a summit like this, talking about the tomorrow of our children, of our younger ones, is more important than celebrating a birthday. It's more important than sitting down, eating rice and drinking that we can do any other day. So that's why I am here today. And if you follow my journey in the National Assembly, you will notice that I've had several bills and motions concerning education. I have a motion on out-of-school children. I have a bill on the curriculum. And to God be the glory, some weeks ago, the federal government changed the curriculum, which I'm still working on it because I still believe Yoruba, Hausa, and Yoruba should be compulsory from primary 1 to GSS 3. That's what's going to forge the unity amongst us. Because my pain in Abuja, I noticed that if I can speak your language, we can relate. But if I don't speak your language, it's very difficult. That's why you see in Abuja, all the Hausas are in one place, all the Igbos are in one place, all the Yorubas are in one place. But someone that can speak their language cuts across the whole three. I know Ejinabu Salawu can bear witness. In Abuja, when he speaks Hausa, he has more friends and he has more people around him. So I believe that we can do that. But sorry please, you would indulge me this afternoon. I am here with two of my colleagues, but I want one of my colleagues to come up and speak. Why I wanted to speak? Because he's the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Basic Education. So that's why I made him follow me here today. So I wanted to speak so that he can say one or two things about what the committee is doing and also what the renewed hope government is doing based on education in Nigeria today and what he also will do for us in our community based on the committee and how I also speak after to conclude and tell you how those programs I will see what I can do as your representative to tailor it to this place. So indulge me while I call up on stage Honorable Mukhtar Omotolani Shagada, representing Ilorin West, Asa, Federal Constituency.
Honorable Mukhtar, you want to
Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Basic Education. Please give a round of applause. Please let's encourage you.
Thank you.
And you can see that this state assembly, where a lot of young lawmakers in this state assembly that are below 40, is 37 years of age. 35, sorry, 35. Every 2 years, 35. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Our Imperial Majesty, our revered Royal Fathers here present, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Oyo State, ably represented, distinguished stakeholders, educationists, community leaders, ladies and gentlemen. It is both an honor and a duty to stand before you at this historic gathering dedicated to a matter that lies at the very heart of our collective future, education. The theme of this summit, Community Partnership in Education in Ogbomoso land, is both timely and profound. Education has never been the sole responsibility of government. It thrives best when government, communities, families, and the private sector move in harmony, like the strands of a woven fabric. If one strand weakens, the fabric tears. But when all are strong and united, it becomes impossible to break. Our history reminds us that Ogbomoso has been a cradle of scholarship and excellence. From the missionary schools of the old and many sons and daughters of this land who have distinguished themselves across Nigeria and beyond, education has always been our ladder to dignity, opportunity, and prosperity. Today, however, we must confront the pressing realities. Our schools face infrastructural deficits. Our teachers demand greater motivation, and our children require not just access, but quality learning. This is why partnership is crucial. Government will continue to provide policy direction and investment, but without the active support of communities, through school-based management committees, alumni associations, local philanthropists, and traditional institutions, progress will be limited. However, today we must also acknowledge the renewed hope agenda under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the renewed hope administration. Since its inception, the administration has increased budgetary allocations to the education sector in line with international best practices. I, for one, sponsored the bill to double the budget received by UBEC, that is the Universal Basic Education Commission, and to the glory of God, that has now gone through the third reading, and we should be expecting that, and that should definitely affect the schools in Ogbomoso land. Now, they've launched initiatives to train and retrain teachers in digital literacy and modern learning methods. We've expanded school, feeding, and social investment programs that keep children in classrooms, particularly vulnerable households. We've promoted policies that encourage out-of-school children reintegration, bridging the gaps in literacy and numeracy at the foundation level. These achievements, though, still evolving, show the commitment of the federal government to ensuring that no child is left behind. But government cannot do it alone. The task before us requires deliberate community partnership, because a child educated in Ogbomoso land is not only a pride to this community, but a blessing to Nigeria and the world. Our royal fathers here present today represent not only tradition, but also a bridge to the people. Your voices and influence can mobilize resources and inspire confidence. Our Deputy Governor embodies the commitment of the Oyo State Government to prioritize education, and our stakeholders, teachers, parents, NGOs, and the private sector bring the innovation and energy required to make lasting change. If we succeed, Ogbomoso land will again stand as a beacon of learning in Nigeria, producing leaders, innovators, and nation builders. Together, let us build an education system worthy of our children and the generations yet unborn. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
1 million naira. Thank you so much. Okay, in line of this, I didn't want to call my third colleague that followed me, but in line of the donation, I think I should just call it, you also make a donation. So, Sesi Oluwaseun Wigan, representing Badagry.
5 million naira.
5 million naira.
Honorable Sesi, representing Badagry Federal Constituency. Thank you so much.
Thank you. On behalf of myself, separately, I'll give you know him is upstream, petroleum, me and youth, chairman youth, ẹ̀yin ọ̀dọ́, tí mo ṣe o, ẹ̀yin ọ̀dọ́, Nigerian youth, Ogbomoso youth. So I'll drop 1 million. Then on behalf of the Akala family, 1 million, make it 2 million. So to conclude, I'm sure we've heard what he has said and a lot of things about the renewed hope agenda, what we're doing. So I would like to please tell the committee on education, this education summit to please let us have a copy of the communique that comes up after this summit, so that we can tailor it to these policies that are going on. And I can also, as your federal representative, know what I can do and how I can run around to tailor what I'm doing in Abuja to that document concerning education. So thank you so much and God bless you. Thank you so much. Kabiyesi. I want to talk about again to appreciate Kabiyesi for his foresight and his insight towards Ogbomoso land. Because he could have just said that in America and or something, but he said no, I want to be here. I want Ogbomoso to move further than what it is. So let us appreciate him. Clap, please. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Kabiyesi, sir.
Thank you so much. Executive Governor for your state, the Deputy Governor of your state, and the Acting Governor, ably represented by Engineer Muftar Salau. Your Excellency, the former military governor of Oyo and Ogun State, General Oladayo Popola, Honorable Commissioner for Education, ably represented, His Imperial Majesty, the Shah of Ogbomoso land, Oba Gandhi Olaoye Olumododo. Other royal personages and royal fathers, they are present. Chairman of the occasion, the Pro-Chancellor of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, for whom I stand proxy, Deputy Vice Chancellors, Registrar and other principal officers of the university, Provost of colleges, Deans of faculties here present, eminent professors, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I'm deeply honored to address this important gathering on a subject that touches the very foundation of national and human development, community participation in education. This keynote address, titled Strengthening Education Through Community Participation, Building Partnership for Sustaining Development, in foregrounding and setting the tone for the panel discussion at this occasion, will cursorily examine the concepts, framework, and roles of community in education with a view to setting agenda for proper communal engagement. Education is the most powerful tool for transforming societies. It shapes the individual, empowers the family, enriches communities, sustains the nation, and advances the human race. However, education is far too important to be left to the government and institutions alone. Community participation has thus emerged as a critical strategy for improving access, equity, and quality. True progress in education happens when the entire community becomes an active partner in the education processes. Community participation in education refers to the active involvement of parents, traditional rulers, community leaders, civil societies, private sector actors, religious organizations, and other stakeholders in planning, implementing, monitoring, and evaluating educational activities. It is based on the principle of shared responsibility and ownership of schools. Across the world, countries that have invested in community-based education have seen remarkable improvement in enrollment, retention, and quality of learning. Experience and empirical studies have shown that government alone cannot shoulder the responsibility on education. A school without community support is like a tree without roots. If it does not wither, it cannot grow strong. In Nigeria, the Basic Education, Universal Basic Education Act of 2004 explicitly recognizes community participation as essential to achieving education for all. The Act mandates communities to contribute resources, participate in governance, and support school infrastructure. Similarly, The national policy on education further institutionalizes participation through Parents-Teachers Association, school-based management committee, and partnership with civil society. These mechanisms are vital to democratizing education and ensuring that schools reflect the aspirations of local community. This policy framework for the basic and secondary education. The various laws that establish tertiary institutions invariably brought in critical stakeholders at different levels of institutions, governance, and administration, as well as in the concept of town and gown. In Yoruba culture, collective responsibility is a deeply ingrained value. The Yoruba believe that communal effort is central to survival, progress, and continuity. This worldview offers a culturally grounded framework for understanding and strengthening community involvement in education. The culture, therefore, provides a cultural template for partnership in community participation in education. Communalism is deeply embedded in Yoruba philosophy, expressed in proverbs and other oral tradition genres. This explains why the Yoruba communities, particularly Ogbomoso, have historically demonstrated strong participation in education. Notable examples are Ogbomoso People's Institute and Ogbomoso Grammar School that were founded and supported through communal efforts, and indigenes were provided scholarship. This tradition of community ownership created a strong link between schools and their host community, fostering accountability and sustainability. The significance of community participation are in 4 different primary areas. First is the shared responsibility for accountability and commitment. Second is the resource mobilization. Let me digress a bit. Mobilization not only financially, but also offering time, skill, land, and knowledge. Example is the commitment of Professor Adekojo Adeshola. After stepping down as the Director General of FNI, he volunteered to be teaching in Lautech as a professor pro bono. Fourth is cultural relevance by local participation to ensure that learning reflects cultural value, languages, and tradition, thereby making education meaningful to learners. The fourth is safety and discipline, by which the involved community help create safe as well as supportive environment that reinforce discipline and morality among students. With such participation, the institution can explore all its potentials for the benefit of the community. Again, I wish to digress about the benefit of this arising from Lautech experience. Because the community supports the university, the environment is relatively safe and stable. And the university has provided access to university education. It has improved economic development of the town and improved healthcare system. It offered employment opportunities and agreed extension services. Recently, the Institute of African Studies, which was established, has 3 centers: Center for Material Culture, Center for Non-Material Culture, and Center for Ogbomoso Studies. Recently, I think just about 2 months ago, the Sunday Adewusi Institute of Security and Strategic Studies was established. I'm taking cue from the aspiration of the community. The University Senate last week approved the compulsory AI training for every 100-level student of the university. But in spite of these progress made variously in this direction, challenges remain. Now, I'm not speaking of LAUTECH, I'm speaking of education generally. Inadequate infrastructure, overcrowded classrooms, shortage of qualified teachers, and limited funding in discipline and courtesy remain at the front burner of the challenges in Nigeria. This gap between policy and practice suggests the need for re-energizing community structures. The way forward, and this is a call to action. 6 significant steps need to be taken. First is the community's involvement to participate in education as sine qua non. Second is the involvement of religious and traditional institutions as they remain influential in shaping values and mobilize the resources. Third is the energizing parental engagement. Parents must not only send their children to school, but also monitor their progress, encourage reading at home, and uphold discipline. Fourth is the involvement of the private sector in exercising its corporate responsibility to target infrastructural development, scholarship, research, and teacher development. The fifth and the last one is to allow youth and student voices in shaping some of the education processes and fostering ownership responsibility. In taking action, however, we should take cognizance of the fact that education is not only about schooling, home training, and apprenticeship at Jamaica. The Yoruba proverb, Ojúmẹ́rin ló bímọ, ìgbà ojú ló ń wò, that is, only a couple birth a child, but the training of the child is a communal responsibility, it's instructive. Home training is the bedrock of all partnership and community participation in education. Because if youth and children are trained from home, any other person can equally succeed. And it is imperative, if we are to successfully steer our communities away from vices such as drug abuse, hooliganism, rituals, and cultism, so as to realize the full benefits of education for national development. In conclusion, Your Excellencies, Kábíyèsí, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the future of education is not the responsibility of government alone. It is a collective project. Community participation is both a cultural inheritance and a policy imperative. The Yoruba worldview, expressed in the proverb, Àjèjì ọwọ́ kan ò gbẹ́rù dórí, literally meaning one hand cannot conveniently lift a load onto the head, reminds us that progress is impossible in isolation. For Nigerian education to flourish, the collective involvement of communities is indispensable, and it is only through such collective effort that Nigeria can build a strong, resilient, and relevant education system. Kábíyèsí Ọba Gandhi Afolabi Olaoye Olumodege III has taken the lead on behalf of his community and land. Let everyone in the land follow. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Imperial Majesty Oba Gandhi Olaoye. The former governor of Oyo State, whole Oyo State and Ogun State, General Oladayo Opola. The royal fathers present here today, the academicians, and the great children that are all here. I'm here to represent the acting governor of Oyo State, Barrister Bayo Lawal, who could not be here because of singular reason that they are currently running an executive meeting in which he chaired. But as fate will have it, he called me to represent him here today. Unfortunately, I was also not supposed to be here because there is a committee they've been inaugurated today, and I'm a member of that committee. So I've already concluded that I won't be at this summit. Fortunately, the acting governor called me and said, Open, go to Ogbomoso and represent me there. Kabiyesi will notice that after our meeting on Sunday, I was still wearing the same clothes yesterday at the football match because I came to Ogbomoso on Sunday with the intention of returning to Ibadan immediately after that meeting. But, you know, God has his own mystery way of doing things. But thank God I'm here. Baba has finally called him. I asked him this morning that, what is the message for Ogbomoso? He said, Open. Just tell the community that whatever the communique is, the government will provide enabling environment to actualize all your plans. So that is Baba's message. Now, as Open Salam, as Babalaje of Ogbomoso, you know we are public servants. We are not supposed to do this. But let me do this and damn the consequence. Yeah. But because of what we are also looking at in the future, we need to be extremely careful as well. But Kabiyesi, I dreamt, and my dream is this, that I set aside 100 million naira for all the programs that you have in mind. And that 100 million naira is in a pool in which I will pull from it and be supporting all these programs. Education is everything. And I have decided that I will do everything humanly possible to support any educational program. And in starting with this, just join me in the prayer that my dream should be reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The current landscape of education in the nation as regards the primary, secondary, and tertiary institution, in terms of number, in primary school, we have increased in number, and in terms of delivery, we are not reached our mark yet. In terms of the secondary school education in the Ogbomoso land, we want to appreciate the effort of the government and the effort of the private sector who have ensured that our schools are spread across all the zones. However, we still have so many interns that we don't have a secondary school located there. In the last 4 or 5 weeks, we have about 5 communities who have requested for a secondary school to be located in their locality. We are considering the application. However, some of them need the basic thing to be done. Like in Kajola Assis, along with the local government, there is also a collection of schools in a locality between Ajeologo and the other community. And the students are deprived of education. We are looking at what we can do personally because the application has reached advanced stage in the Ministry of Education. Of recent, when we received the application of the town at the junction when you are going through Ilewe, you want to link up with Ajase. There's a junction there. These people have been deprived of secondary education for some years, but luckily enough, this February we open a secondary school there with the help of the community. In Ogbomoso local government, we have been trying to expand the secondary school there because there are only 2 secondary schools located there, and the 2 major schools that were there is choked up. The facility are already on ground, and we are already moving to ensure that the application is received favorable condition from the government. And I also want to tell you that March this year, when we observed that some of our urban schools are overpopulated, we wrote a memo to the authority, and those schools were disarticulated into 4. Making sure that, so in essence, our old Ogbomoso grammar school, which is the 1 school, now has 8 secondary schools. And similarly, 6 rather. There are so many schools that were considered, but they did not meet up with the minimum facility and the enrollment in the school.
Okay, so what can you say about the state?
Well, we have not reached where we are going. We are, in Ogbomoso, generally, the 5 local governments, we are better than other zones, as I'm talking to you, in terms of our state. But the state of the effort is that our community participation, which has been the handiwork of the elders in the years past, we need to improve on it.
All right, thank you very much. I've just been informed that this session will only take 30 minutes. I thought we would be able to spend 1 hour for it. But so that means for each of our panelists, you will have 2 minutes to respond. So that, yes, I know, but you can just, what you can say in 1 hour, you can say it in 2 minutes. I strongly believe that. So please help us to manage the time. All right.
Thank you very much. I'm directing the question to Professor Adejuma here in Lautech. As I said earlier, the corporate decline in the education system, especially in our community, are 5. Governments, the owner of the schools, teachers, students, parents, and the community. Can you try to expatiate more? Who is more culpable in decline of education in our community?
Thank you very much. Responsible for the state of our public schools. I am a product of a public school, and there are times when I speak, people will feel I attended one private school somewhere. The academic corruption. Let me explain myself what I mean by academic corruption. You see that when WAEC result comes out, whole level results come out, private school performs better than public school students. If you have 200 students from public school that are writing WAEC, barely will you get 10% that will make all the subjects that they are supposed to make. So, is it the government policy? Is it the teachers that are not well trained in public school? Is it infrastructure? Or is it the fact that education is free? So who do we hold responsible for the state of public schools, secondary schools, private schools in Nigeria?
Well, I want to
Ogbomoso land.
In Ogbomoso land, I want to speak from the perspective of an inspector of education.
That's why I asked you, sir.
Now, I want to make one thing clear. We cannot pinpoint a particular group as being responsible. We are hauled into it. But the area at which it is taking all of each of those groups is different. I want to tell you that on the part of the government, in the last 6 or 7 years, we have seen a tremendous commitment in terms of finance, in terms of recruitment, in terms of facilities. But before then, our facilities were almost into nothing. Now, on the part of the parents, many of our parents are not responsible. Many of them, if you take 9 out of 10 students who attend in school for any one offense or the other, you discover that they are from a broken home. They are from a home that, so when you invite some parents to come to school and you mention the offense of your child and you see the parents, but you conclude your heart that no wonder this boy cannot behave better than this. Now, on the aspect of passing in the private school than the public school, I want to make it clear, and I stand to the challenge, that most of those who passes very well, except some few schools, they are miracle center. And those who know me very well know that since I came into Ogbomoso in February, we have been at loggerhead. Because what is the essence of having students with 5 A1s, 2 A1, and then they get to university 100 level, they are rusticated. I have on practical note, by the grace of God, I'm also a church pastor. There are two people who came to my church one day. I gave them business slip. I discovered that they could not write their names. They introduced themselves to me as a graduate of a secondary school. I asked them, what do you want to do in town? They said they have come to learn a trade. We thought this is your result. Why do you want to learn a trade? And I discovered that they cannot construct a single statement on their home. And they have over 5 credits. Now, the baseline is that if parents will take their responsibility as it ought to be, then we will not be where we are.
Thank you.
Then one other thing is that the community we are in, there are so many rules that guide our environment in the school. If you go to most of our schools now, you see those who are selling paraga beside the school gate. We have been saying this over the years that sometimes you will discover that along our school at Nosifa and Co, all the erected structure there were demolished. But the government is still coming to send them away. Now, we are not receiving the cooperation of the community. Because the government will not be sitting down every day. But the community people are there every day, seeing them destroying the property and the structure on ground. So I want to say that this summit, sincerely yours, is an eye-opener, and we all have responsibility to do after this summit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I want to throw the same question to Mr. Femi Olukide, being a proprietor of a private school and also the chairman of the NAPS. So what do you say to the fact that most private schools are miracle centers, and who do we hold responsible?
Sorry. Yes, sir.
First of all, I want to appreciate the opportunity if private schools are miracle centers, 99.9% of civil servants, their children are in private school. Miracle centers. Government, that is the supervisory officer, what are they doing? And the fact that we don't need to run away from, excuse me, I think in the heart of our king, education is not supposed to be what it is.
the education is not in the right way. So instead of that, just opposing our position, I want to advise that we move ahead. If we continue doing this, we will not get anywhere. But I want to tell you, the fundamental role of any government is the provision of security and education. And worldwide, for your state and any other state in Nigeria or anywhere, they are not able to do that. That's why the private investors are coming in. If you look at the number of teachers we have employed, the number of children in our schools, if private schools are not existing, government cannot do that. We give quality education, we give access to education. And as we speak, we are the best, and we are the pride of everybody, including my Oga.
Mrs. Ojewumi FT, the headmistress of the St. David Anglican Basic School. The school is established in 18th century, if I'm not mistaken, 1856. There is a sharp decline in literacy, numeracy, capacity of students in basic school. I can remember vividly, I was in primary 2. I can be able to read many things. Signboard, Ogoluwa, Nigeria Limited. There were many taxis at Ogbomoso by then. There's many inscriptions on them. And many things that contribute to our ability to read fluently. As a headmistress in a basic school, what are you doing to improve the literacy value of the pupils in basic school?
Thank you, moderator. I want to thank God for the life of our KBC. Thank you, sir, for giving us this privilege. Concerning the decline of education in primary school, especially for literacy, for them to be able to read and even write. Though there are so many things that make these children not to perform well, but on the part of the teachers, in the school, we do have opportunity to take these children from their lower class, especially from nursery, kindergarten class, to train them how to read and write. But what we are having, the challenge we are having for about the life of these children is that many of their parents, they are not ready to surrender or to release these children to come to school every day. If you have these children at times, many of them will say they are not having money for their meal for them to come to school. So many of them will be absenting themselves from school. And even when we get to their home, their parents will be complaining of what they are not having to give to these children. So the government have been doing well for some time, giving all our children food for so many times. We have these children coming to school regularly. But nowadays, though that is our food for honor. But on the other part, we are seeing that these children, we are able to read our letters, the identification of letters, joining two letters together, that they can move from that level to the level of pronouncing words, the level of writing.
Please, ushers, don't distribute anything.
To inculcate that habit in their words.
They are not ready to support their children, maybe because of poverty.
And the parents are here present. Can we ask them?
Can you ask them? You can ask them. Those children that are with us, we do ensure that they are able to read and that because that is the aim of the basic school education. They have to know how to read.
Literacy, numeracy, and structure pedagogy.
Yes. We are trying our best, and we know with the support of the parents with these children, we can do better.
All right, thank you very much.
So I'll be directing this question to Mrs. Ojewu-Lefty. But before are you Ojewu-Lefty? No, I mean her. Okay, Mrs. Okay. Now I want to ask this question, but let me give what happened to us in the past. Sometimes last year, Kabesi saw some youth at a junction and he asked them to come to the palace and I'd like to empower them. So one of the boys was there and he asked him, how old are you? He said he's 24. He said he's married with 2 children. Now, His Imperial Majesty told the boy to bring his wife. When the girl came, 22 years, with 2 children. And he now asked her, would you like to go back to school? The girl said yes. He said, go and bring your O-level result. My God, when this girl brought her O-level result, she had all the papers. And said, okay, no problem. We are going to help you to get scholarship. And the boy said she's not going to school. Yes, the boy told us categorically, he said there is no way the girl is going back to school. And since the husband said it, there is nothing we could do, so we have to let the girl go. So the question I want to ask you is this. What practical example of successful community partnerships can you share from the institution? What are the practical community partnerships with the education system can you share from the institution?
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. And once again, on behalf of all the principals in Ogbomoso land, we want to appreciate our king for this opportunity given to us to come and unburden our hearts, to come and share some of the things that we are passing through that we are finding it difficult to discuss with some people. But I believe now we have opportunity to discuss together, and we believe if there will be no solutions to all, we are going to get solutions to some of the challenges that we are facing. Concerning the question you asked, now I've had some opportunities to intervene in families. There is this little boy in JSU. The parents always bring the boy to school, every morning. And the parents will bring the boy to me, Mommy, help me to beat this child. He stole in the area yesterday. I don't know what is happening to him. And in school, in classes, he will steal his friends' things. And then we report to teachers will beat this boy. And it continued like that for a long time. Until one day I called the boy. I said, come. Now, what is your problem? Why are you stealing? The boy said, he started crying. Immediately I asked him that question. And later I allowed him to cry. When he stopped crying, he said, Mommy, I am stealing intentionally. I said, why? Are your parents not taking care of you? And if you see the boy well taken care of, well fed, he said, no, it's because I'm not happy. I said, what is wrong with you? Your father is always here. Your father is always running after you to make sure that you are comfortable in school. Why are you doing this? And he said, my parents are not together. And I'm not happy about it. I feel bad about it every day. So I want to do something that will continue to hurt them every day. And that is the reason why the boy is stealing. And I asked him, what if you get killed along the line? He said, Shebi ma, I will not be part of the problem again. I will not feel the pain again. And they will live their lives. And so I asked him, can I discuss this with your parents? He said, yes, ma, you can. I sent for the father the following day. I asked the father, where is your wife? He said, the wife is somewhere, taking care of his mother. And I didn't even ask him, and he started talking. I didn't send her away from the house, so she just packed one day. She said she wanted to take care of her mother. And because of that, she left me and the children alone. So I've been the one taking care of the children all this while. For the past 3 years, she has left the house taking care of her mother. And I said, okay, can I meet your wife? He said, yes. Please help me to send for her, that I want to see her. The wife came too. The wife was in Iluju then, staying with her mother. She came from Iluju. I said, is this your son? I called the son. Is this your son? She said, yes. Are you staying together with your children? She said, no. I said, why? Then she told me that her mother was sick and she was there taking care of the mother and she has been there. And I asked her, do you love these children? Do you know this boy is stealing? He said, even I'm coming from Orioke now, just because of this boy. I've been praying over his life. Anytime he came around to see me, he will steal. And people will say, Omalagbaja has come again, that she's even fed up. It was then I opened up that this your child is stealing because of you and her father. That the only thing that will make this boy happy is for the two of you to come together and take care of them. And the boy happened to be the firstborn of the family. They are 3, and this boy was in JSU then. I said, the only thing is, come home. Come and take care of your children, and you see what will happen. And a week after, she came to Ogbomoso. 3rd week after, the father just came. Mama, Emma, she day. Oh my dear, he's no more stealing. And the price became happy.
All right. So you're saying, what you're saying in essence is that there is need for us to interview these children.
Yes.
And to commend them in the affairs of the family. Thank you very much.
Any of our panelists to answer this question. The question comes from somewhere. Now that the government of Nigeria has mandated WAEC, NECO to conduct their exam via CBT, computer-based test, what does that hold for us in Ogbomoso? And what is the government doing for us to actualize these developments? Anyone can answer the question?
Well,
in 30 seconds.
Okay, I think Ogbomoso, we are lucky. By the special grace of God, we are now at the forefront. The last WAEC that conducted in Oyo State, there were only 3 CBT centers in Oyo State. Ogbomoso was one of them. And the facility we have as at then was just about 150. By the very grace of God, by tomorrow, and before the next month, we have a facility of 750 by a private investor in Ogbomoso. So, on the part of the government, we are already working out in our own corner because they are coming out with it and we are working on it. We are also going to bank on LAUTECH here for the facilities here. Because, as they have said, it's going to be center-based and not school-based.
Mr. Olufide.
Thank you, sir. I think we need to understand one thing. Nigerians, God will help us, and I pray that we'll be having forum like this in a very serious country. With what we had, the problem we had in the last WAEC, Nigerians will not promulgate a law that exam will be through CBT this year, and they go into it without the facilities. I listened to the House of Reps the other time. They were still arguing that they are going to put CBT center in every local government. That is not lawful. And what our actor said is to collaborate that with that private school, there will be no education at all. Because that center that he was referring to is from an effort and individual.
Also,
so we want our government. We want our we want our government to please the way and manner we put our policy into action is effective. You understand it now? 99% of our schools in Oyo State now, they are without computer. Schools without computer, how do you expect them to write exams and pass? And what we major on
Sorry, thank you. Yes, sir.
We have been looking for why, we have been looking for X for 200 years. Till today we have not found it.
Thank you very much.
And this education cannot get us to where. It is high time we go to skill education.
A round of applause.
Thank you.
Very much.
Before we round off, I want to invite the Yalode of Ogbomoso land. I want her to speak as a mother.
Okay.
What can family do, especially mothers in the house? Mommy, you can please come.
Before your lady comes,
especially women, what can they do in Yoruba language? Thank you.
It's a very majesty of Aganda Afolabi. We really appreciate you, sir. Truly, you are a father. You will live long. I want to advise the mothers in the house. All what you have been saying since morning, maybe private, secondary, all the challenges lies on the parents, especially the mothers. Mothers, I want to take you to Proverbs chapter 31 that talk about virtuous woman. As a virtuous woman, you should stop buying asoebi instead of buying books for your children. Stop buying asoebi. Many parents will be saying, I'm going to Ogbomoso. When you wake up, you see your money under the bed, under the pillow, you left your children on catered floor. We are facing lots of challenges in the public primary school. You don't feed your children. As a mother, you must stay at home, cook food for your parents, for your children. Don't give them 15 naira. Go to the mommy that is selling beans, go and buy 15 naira worth of beans. That 15 naira worth of beans cannot feed your children. It's so small. We are forcing the pupils of public primary school to read. It's like we are forcing them. Honestly, what is going on there is nothing to write home about. So, stop buying asoebi. Don't go to party. Instead of going to party, stay with your children. Teach them. Assist them. Then we have broken homes. Please, women, stay with your husband. Yes. In good condition or bad condition, please stay with them. Stay with them so that you'll be able to monitor your children. You know, men, some of them will say, I will not allow you to go with my children. I will take my children, I said, and I will take care. And they will not do it too. In a situation where ODDA, they are doing scholarship, they will give your children money. And the parents will say, Angel woman. I don't know what kind of Angel woman. They give your children money to cater for their school fees, and the parents, they will just go to their parlor and say, Angel woman. Oh, Angel woman, a good old because of some rules to sit down and make sure your children go to school, and for you as a parent to now go to their parlor and say you are eating the fruit of your labor. No, it's very wrong. Please, please take care of your children.
Alright, so we'll be having have the same final words.
Final words.
30
seconds. We have underlined the challenges. What are the way out in 30 seconds? I start from here. Start looking in.
Thank you, sir. I think I want to use this opportunity to make an appeal. And one of my appeals is that this talk show must not just end here. We are looking for an opportunity.
Let me pursue. So we have it. So we want 2 students, 1 boy, 1 girl, secondary school. What do you have to say to